Okay, let's talk about a little bit of wolf news. There's always wolf news. It's usually not very good news. But the first thing I'll talk about is California, where we've had an interesting development or supposed development that turns out, as I expected, to not actually be a development. But here's the deal. Not far from Kirkwood Ski Resort, there's an area of the state known as Hope Valley. Very sparsely populated, somewhat rugged territory. It should be a good place for elk and deer, but due to livestock grazing and overhunting some time ago, it has never really repopulated with a substantial big game population. In fact, it's when I say a substantial big game population, what I'm talking about is, hundreds or thousands of elk or deer or combination thereof that persist for any length of time. Now, pretty high elevation gets tremendous amount of snowfall in the winter, which means that even if there were a lot of big game up there, they would migrate down to lower places on the Sierra during the winter, because why not? I mean, there's no food if there's 400 inches of snow. Much easier just to walk for, a day or two and set yourself down to lower elevations where it's rainy and verdant during the winter instead of frigid and snow covered. So not a lot of populations, but we were getting these news reports, and everybody was reaching out to me that people were reporting that they had seen wolves, they thought, in Hope Valley. Now, to be fair, that would be super exciting to have wolves reasonably near where we reside, but I have long maintained that in the Tahoe Basin and in the general vicinity of Lake Tahoe, which would include Hope Valley and the Kirkwood Resort area and those mountains, that principally because there's no big food in large numbers, that a sustained wolf population would be extremely unlikely. Wolves really need big food. They need elk and deer or caribou, bison, muskox, moose, something big with hooves to eat in large numbers, because they're not able to just kill anything they want. They really rely on infirm animals, either very young, very old, injured, unwell, exhausted, starved. They pick and choose carefully because they're much smaller than even a medium-sized deer or elk, and so there's a lot of risk that comes with trying to kill something much bigger than you, and it's certainly easier to kill one that's on its last legs, and they don't care. They'll eat anything. They're not trophy hunters. They're opportunistic killers. So given that if you have a very small herd, then that means that the number of available potential targets is even smaller, and so it just doesn't make for good eating for them, for good opportunities. So I'd maintained that there wasn't enough big food. Other people, particularly with these reports where I was saying I'm pretty skeptical because there's not big food, and they're saying wolves eat everything. They eat rabbits and mice and beavers and otters and bear cubs, and yeah, they do. They'll eat anything that they can catch, kill, and consume. They'll also eat dead stuff, and of course they'll also eat livestock, but they're really elk and deer specialists in California, really deer specialists. That's what they are eating in this state. And if there's not a whole bunch of them, wolves got no reason to be there. And they're not going to be coming into town and getting into garbage, and they're not going to be in Tahoe eating people's pets, and they're not making a living on bear cubs. There's just not enough, and that's just not what they do. And so I've been engaged in trying to inform the general public across the various groups that have been very excited and somewhat concerned about this possibility of wolves here. The state of California, responding to the reports, have dispatched their biologists to have a look-see. I'm sure they were just as skeptical as I was, because they know the same thing I know, that wolves need lots of big food in order to hang around. I mean, it's conceivable that wolves moved through the area and were there for a couple of days while they decided to progress somewhere that has happier hunting. But for them to be there and stay there would be very surprising to those of us that really have wolf-specific expertise. So they had dispatched cameras and listening devices because wolves are noisy and they howl. And so they'd be able to pick up and document howling. They scoured the area looking for wolf poop, which is pretty distinctive if you know what you're looking for. And so now I guess we're about 2 weeks into the quest for evidence that wolves were there. And the department is reporting no evidence of a wolf presence in Hope Valley, just like I said. People are still insisting that they're seeing wolves in South Lake Tahoe. They're not. They're just not. It's really frustrating when people opine that they've seen something without understanding or respecting the biology of a species to the point where they can, make sense of a sighting. And, people often mistake our coyotes, especially this time of year when they start putting on a bunch of fur for winter. They can easily mistake. Oh, the Pente's chasing something. What'd you get, little mouse? You scare a mouse? She scare a mouse? I think she scared a mouse. You guys scare a mouse? The Pente has the highest prey drive of any Malamute I've ever seen. She has a higher prey drive than Noonie, which is fun. She wants to catch stuff and kill it because she's a hunter. Aren't you? Look at her. Look at her. She's all alerted to it. It was too quick for you, though. It's gone. All right. Come on. Let's keep moving. So, anyway, that report has, I think now, been sussed out to the point where we're not feeling like it's very likely that there are wolves in Hope Valley. But generally in California, wolf recovery continues. I mean, California is probably the only place almost on Earth where wolves are truly safe and secure at this point. They are listed not just federally here, but also under the State Endangered Species Act, in large part to the incredible work of a friend of mine, Amaruk Weiss, who works for the... Come on, don't roll and stop. You're too cute to roll and stink. Come on, get up. Get up. This time of year, there's stuff to roll. Bear poop, mostly. And they try it on. But yeah, thanks to Amaruk and the Center for Biological Diversity and other NGOs that partnered with them, they managed to get the wolf protected under the State Endangered Species Act, which was really important because it guaranteed protections for wolves here, even if they are federally removed from the Endangered Species Act, which is always a possibility, just because legislative activity, politically motivated, driven largely by extractive industry, has been pushing to remove protections from wolves almost from the minute that there were a couple back. And even though they've recolonized less than 5% of the suitable habitat for them to persist, they are nevertheless under threat every second of every day. It's a big part of the work that I do, is to try to educate people so that they advocate for the continued protections of the animals. Hey, Noonie, come this way. Noonie, don't get stuck over there. Come here. Come on, Smarty. Come here. Come around the tree. Thank you. You can go this way. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go. So we have to be vigilant. But at least in California, it's a good place to be a wolf. And there's now, I think, 7 or 8 named family groups, including a family group that has gone all the way south of Yosemite into the Sequoia National Forest, where they're called the Yaulumni family group. And if people are interested, by the way, let me know in the comments, and I will provide sort of regular updates on what's happening with wolves around the country, including in California and elsewhere. And I'll also provide updates on sort of the machinations of the political landscape as it relates to wolf protections kind of broadly, and then more specifically in different regions. I always value comments that request information or express an interest in certain wolf or canine or wildlife related topics. That's where I like to focus my attention. And certainly also I'm happy to talk about our animal husbandry, our habitats, the development of our nonprofit. And finally, I've made a commitment to sort of doing this every post, so I hope I don't annoy people, but I'm really excited. I just completed the manuscript for my first wolf-related book. It's called The Wolf Lover's Guide to Raising Dogs. And it's a book about how to transform your relationship with your canine companions based on understanding the basis for a lot of their behavior and leveraging the experience of people like me who've worked with a lot of primitive dogs, wolf dogs, and wolves over many years. And so what we do is we examine why behaviors occur, how to understand and interpret those behaviors, what we do as primitive animal handlers, and how you can take inspiration from that to give yourself an even happier and more interesting life with your dogs. Should be out around Christmas on just about every single platform. And if you have kids, I wrote a book about Nepenthe here. So Nepenthe is a very unusual little Malamute because she has terrible role models. Yeah, you do. She was raised by our wolves and wolf dogs, and so she's a little unruly. And so in our story, she's a little unruly, and so her family, us, decide to send her to puppy charm school, and she gets a little bullied at puppy charm school. She's kind of having a rough time, and the other puppies aren't very accommodating of a pretty unruly, not listening, snack stealing, door opening. Come on, come this way. Come around here. Thank you. Canid. And then there's an emergency at the charm school, and she teaches the other puppies to channel their wolfy ancestry to survive the emergency until they can connect with her wolf family who leads them to safety. And so it's an anti-bullying, pro-wolf, happy, beautifully illustrated book. I'm super proud of my illustrator. Nope. Caught him. He was about to roll in bear poop, and I put a stop. Ha ha. No bear poop for you. And yeah, it's the illustrator is a friend of mine, Olivia, who knows our animals because she's also a technician at our wonderful vet hospital. And so her art is just wonderful, and we're really excited about both those books. They'll be released around the same time, hopefully before Christmas, and available for pre-order hopefully within the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks or so. I'll have the pages built, and if you want to order a special author's edition, those will be a slightly different version with space for signatures, and I'll be sending those out myself versus just ordering them off the platforms. So that's kind of it for today. That's Wolf News and a plug for my books. And please leave oh, I forgot. So kind of an interesting thing. We just managed to reach the threshold to be members in the YouTube Partners program. Hey, you, come on, don't roll and poop. What are you doing? Oh, I think that was just fresh ground here, but these people this time of year, it's just so opportune moments for rolling and stinky stuff. Anyway, we qualify for the YouTube Partners program, which means that we are going to be offering some opportunities to help me and my animals and our nonprofit by memberships and other things. So we'll be announcing those membership tiers pretty soon, but among the things we'll offer are members-only videos, members-only live chat, possibly special things like printed high-quality images of the animals, and opportunities to do some other things like symbolic adoptions and different things to help us with our... What's over there? Do you see a bear? There might be a bear. The bear's always here. Anyhow, we'll be announcing that in a more full-throated way here pretty soon, and hopefully some of you that really enjoy this content and want to support our work can become a member and have an even closer connection to me and our animals. So now I'm really done. Hope you guys have a wonderful evening. I'm gonna focus on enjoying my nature and my critters for a minute and shut up. So with that, happy howls and peace out. No, leave the bear poop. My God. There's just so much bear poop right now. So much bear poop. Noonie. This one here. Nepende. This one here.